How did they come together? The Fab Four. Like, once he had a guitar and he was all. Were they simply mates from school, or how did that start?
There's some amazing stories. So, John starts the Quarrymen in the summer of 1956, and they're just a group of friends who were playing together. And it was a laugh. That's all they were doing. But they were playing on the 6th of July 1957 at St Peter's Garden Fete, like a big summer fair. And because this was the church they went to as Sunday school, John and his friends were in the choir. Can you imagine John Lennon in a church choir? Yeah. Can you imagine John Lennon thrown out of a church choir? Yeah, definitely. Exactly. And that's what happened. So they decided to let the Quarrymen play. So they're in the field and they're playing there. And Paul McCartney is brought there. Now, the only reason John and Paul get together is one of John's best friends, Ivan Vaughan, was a really clever lad. He was in the year behind John at primary school. John had a bad reputation. So most of the parents said, I don't want you hanging around with that Lennon. That's how he was referred to, as that Lennon. So when Ivan comes to go to high school, his parents say, you're not going to the same school as that Lennon. So they won't let him go to the same school with all his friends. They send him into a school in Liverpool city centre called the Liverpool Institute. He ends up in a class with the lad born on the same day as him, 18th of June 1942, who's Paul McCartney. Ivan and Paul become friends. Ivan says, my friend John's got this group, do you want to come and see them? Paul says, yeah, okay. And Ivan brings Paul to watch the Quarrymen perform. That's the only reason John and Paul get together, is through Ivan. Which is, wow. Yeah. So, no Ivan Vaughan, no Beatles. It's mad. And so Paul goes and watches them, and then Ivan introduces him to John. They realise they got so much in common musically. Even though John had a guitar, but he couldn't play it properly. Because his mum played banjo, and she taught him to play, so he tuned his guitar like a banjo, and played banjo chords.
Right.
So Paul is curious, what the hell were you playing? And he says, right, this is how I play. So Paul takes John's guitar, decides to try and tune it a little bit like a guitar. But Paul, being left-handed, had learned to play songs on the right-handed guitar upside down. So imagine you're John, who can't even play the thing properly. Paul takes this, tunes it, turns it upside down, then starts playing 20 Flight Rock by Eddie Cochran. So he can sing, and he knows all the right words. It was not a difficult decision for John. John wanted to be Elvis. He wanted to do rock and roll, but with the musicians, his friends at the time, they couldn't do that. Here was a proper musician in Paul who could do that.
Right.
So Paul gets invited to join the Quarrymen, and everything changes from that day.